Selling today, that's 60,000, I've been there to 60,005. You're out left and right. 61,000 now, sir. That's 61,000. That's 61,000 pounds. It's online and selling all the time. That's 61,000.
There's a couple of models in this sale, in the other sales that are going on today, and then there's this one out in the main sale arena tomorrow. It's the common Foster model version that we see out and about. I'm pretty certain it's a 6-inch. Isaac could tell us if he was here. It's all a bit relative to the main size of the main engine as to how big the models end up.
36, 38, that's 38 pounds a bit, that's 38, 38, that's 38 pounds a bit, 38, 38, 40, that's 38 pounds a bit, 38. Oh yeah. 38 pounds a bit, 38, that's 38 pounds a bit, 38, 38 a bit, 38. How much up now? Take 38 pounds a bit, 38, 40 if you want it, and you lose this coming away then, at 38,000.
Shand Mason steam pump by the look of it. A hand one, so you push it around, take it to your fire, or wherever you're going to have your water pumped to, or from. Water bowsers, two, one restored, one unrestored. Perfect for your traction engine if you want it. And then we're on to tractors. Unusual four-wheel drive conversion for a Massey 35. If you've got a collection, this would be an unusual addition to that collection. Got all this added in. It's obviously longer because you've added in this section here, which is your transfer box for your front wheel drive. Quite nice condition, that. It's come from, well, it's certainly come from overseas. That looks Italian by the look of it. Yeah, Trattori Massey Ferguson. So I'd suspect that's a Saleen front wheel drive conversion, which is quite common on the Fergusons and Massey Fergusons. Ferguson Model A. If you're a Ferguson collector, you really should have one of these. There was quite a few of these last year. I think there was probably 4 or 5 of these in all at once in the same sale, which is quite unprecedented really. Interesting tractor. It's certainly a very important tractor in terms of tractor development because it was one of the very earliest tractors to have a three-point lift Ferguson system fitted to it with draft control and everything. And built by David Brown with the Ferguson system in the back end, 3-point linkage, which every tractor now uses today. It has got draft control because there is a spring which controls the draft control, the lift and lower, the automatic lift and lower while the implements are in work. Another very important tractor in development is this Marshall Model M, built by Marshall and Sons, Gainsborough, Lincolnshire. This was one of the first self-propelled tractors that they built following steam. Marshalls are a big steam company. Something that always makes money at the counties and the roadlesses. Ford conversions basically. So basically county took a Ford tractor, 2-wheel drive tractor, and they fitted 4-wheel drive. They are really majestic looking bits of kit. These have been beautifully restored and they do command some cash. But what a machine, what a machine, look at it. Really purposeful. You know what the job it's meant to do just by looking at the tyres on it. And we've only got a few veteran tractors here. This is 1020 International Mogul, restored. UK presumably, but may have been imported. It's quite likely that it was imported and then restored. Nice tractor. International Junior. We've got the 3. Here we've got an International Titan. Now it's quite likely that this one has been imported from America not that long ago. Doesn't look like it's a runner. There's plenty of oil on it though. It's got a decent mag with it, by the look of it. It's got a decent oiler, which is all covered up. This tank's a little bit knackered, but nonetheless, that's easily fixed. As long as the engine block's not cracked and it's not seized, and it's relatively complete, then yeah, it'd be a good buy for somebody, wouldn't it? If you're into internationals. We've got a Roomley Model X, I think this is. This is a big hefty tractor. Got the 20s, and it's got a rather unusual starting handle. So it's basically this handle here, and what you do is you basically put the handle on the little teeth at the back of the flywheel, and that's how you swing over the engine to get it started. Got some hefty wheels on the back. If you take a look at the rear axle casing inside here, with your differential and your final drives, absolutely huge. All for about, what, maybe, yeah, it's a Type X, all for about something like 25 drawbar horsepower. 25 horsepower. All of that engineering to handle 25 horsepower. John Deere Model D from the late 20s, early 30s. I get mixed up with these in the general purpose. So after the Waterloo Boy, the more traction engine like tractors that John Deere made, the John Deere D was, the general purpose, was the first one that started to look like a tractor. And you can see rudimentary steering gear in the axle there. 2 cylinders, which is what most John Deeres did for quite a number of decades. And a very, very nice looking Peterborough. Now, Peterborough tractors were built by Peter Brotherhood Limited Engineering in Peterborough in Cambridgeshire, and they had a Ricardo engine in them, which was a hefty old lump. And these are pretty rare, there's not that many around, and some of them suffered with engine failure, and actually this one did because it has not got the original engine in. Something from around about early to mid 20s. Huge front wheels on it, a bit like a traction engine. Iron frame chassis, as you can see there, channel iron frame. Huge final drives in those casings behind the back wheels there. A real man's tractor this was. So you've got big wheels so that you can get the steering round. That helps with the steering. And what they've done with this Peterborough is they put in an absolute beauty of an engine. Gardner 4-cylinder diesel. I mean, crikey, just the engine alone is probably worth 10 grand. What a fantastic piece of engineering in there, and it fits really nicely as well. It's a really good conversion, really well done, and I think I would like this in my collection. Just for the engine alone, let alone it being a Peterborough. But yeah, fantastic, absolutely. I'd love to hear it running. Maybe it will be tomorrow when it's up for sale. We'll try and catch that. So we're going to take a scoot down the main tractor lines. There's a heck of a lot, as you can see. There's a heck of a lot of tractors all the way across there. We're going back 3, 4, 5 rows deep. There's an awful lot to see. So I won't talk about everything, but we'll start off with this 1255 XL International 4-wheel drive. This is an absolute beautiful machine. What a tractor, absolutely. It's a real purposeful workhorse, that is, that's for sure. All from the 80s, of course, 1255 series. All of those internationals, that period looked like this. Absolutely beautiful machine. Really great. Because they're 40 odd years old now. David Brown 50D, Thresherman's tractor. Again, another big tractor, big pulley on it. Towing and threshing, that's what they were used for. And we've got a 4 counties all in a row. All Ford conversions, that's all County did. They didn't really convert anything else. blue ones generally are agricultural, and the yellow ones are industrial plant. So road building and that sort of thing, quarrying and all of that. That's a real lovely rig, that one. Next to these counties we've got what started it all really in a way, Doe Triple D. Two Fordson Majors coupled together, the front axle's taken off, joined together in the middle to articulate, two power units synchronised together, all the gearboxes synchronised, power steering down there, huge great pivot underneath, lots of various hydraulic cylinders or master cylinders to control brakes and steering and gears and all sorts of other things. Really innovative machine. This is two Super Majors. And here we've got two Ford 5000s, I think these are, that made a Doe 130. So it's exactly the same principle, exactly the same concept. Not much change. Still got the old clutch cylinders there to operate the clutch in the front tractor and the rear tractor at the same time. Same sort of steering arrangement, articulated in the middle. Absolutely brilliant. Real beast of a tractor, that. Put 4, 5, 6 maybe furrows behind it. (7010) series Fords. And we've got a whole line of Fords. E27Ns, two P60s. Again, absolutely humongously lovely tractor. Really do like a Perkins P6 and a Fordson. Fine sounding engine as well, 6-cylinder, straight 6. Yeah, absolutely lovely. And here's the alternative Perkins Fordson with the L4 engine in, so it's got a 4-cylinder diesel instead. Not quite as nice sounding, but still a Perkins nonetheless. Lots of Ford Force tractors.
Yes, road problem.
6-cylinder Super Major, Power Major, and another. There's your standard 4-cylinder version, diesel, and a couple of Fordson standards. Nice patina on that one. That starting handle suggests, oh no, it's free. I was going to say, I thought the starting handle at 3 o'clock there meant that it was seized up. And we've got an unrestored 50D David Brown. Getting to classic territory now. Massive John Deere. Relatively modern, of course, these. Although older than you probably think. There's another, I'm not sure if that's a counter conversion or a roadless conversion. There's no markings on it to say either way. Similar to that Ferguson we saw earlier. And there's a Nuffield, and that was quite often converted by a company called Bray and put 4-wheel drive on the front of the Nuffields. That's an unusual machine, you don't see them very often. Ah, here is a Bray. Noted by the end caps of the front axle, got the name Bray actually written on it. There's quite a lot of 4-wheel drive conversions in this sale, counties and others. This one's a county. Quite a lot of them. Quite surprising. And here we have another Super 4. Based on the Power Major, or the Super Major. Anything that's red with Matthew Ferguson written on it is basically a gold mine. And A couple of people jumped on the Doe Triple D bandwagon and decided to try it on all sorts of other things. They did it in America on a couple of things. There's a few pictures on the internet. But this one is a Ferguson version. So 2 petrol paraffin Fergusons, T20s, joined together in the middle with a pretty hefty turntable conversion stroke drawbar linkage. And you've got exactly the same, twin wheels front and rear, and all controlled from the back. Fiat Agri, got New Holland written on that one. Merhill. Merhills are a big tractor. They went out of business. Used Ford skid units, Ford engines. Oh, I think that one there is either Caterpillar or Perkins V8 by the look of it. But certainly the early ones, that one there is based on a Ford, hence the blue colour I suppose, but they were all yellow as far as I know. But yeah, Ford 6-cylinder. Fordson County Crawler with Perkins P6 in again. Marshall Fowler VF, crawler conversion of a Marshall Field Marshall tractor. And then the later county conversion on tracks of the Power Major or the Diesel Major after the E27M version. And a roadless half track on a Fordson Major. Little Fordson Industrial, they're quite rare and that looks in fairly good condition. They'll have brakes on it and all sorts, probably high top speed as well. Interesting little tractor that would be. Fendt German diesel import with a cutter bar on, makes it a useful machine. Here's another John Deere D, original condition, so quite likely you have been imported, I would suspect, from the USA, not that long ago maybe. Yeah, got PTO on that one. Looks like she's a runner, someone's greased it, put new spark plugs in. Here's an old veteran case cross motor. That should have been at the top of the sale with the others I suppose, but nonetheless, here it is. Again, would have been an import from America, which is in too good a condition to be an original for this country, unless it's been very, very well looked after, but I very much doubt it. Quite a humongous machine. Look at the size of the engine on that. An engine that size these days would probably give you 200 horsepower, but back in the day it would probably only give you about 30. But huge lugging ability.
You've got that 3 turns, and then right, I see. That'll drop off, and then put your engine back into compression.
Teaching the rudiments of how to start a Field Marshal diesel. There's a few Field Marshals to choose from this time as well. 2 options to start this. Start it with a cartridge, start it with a handle. When I say a cartridge, I really mean a shotgun cartridge. Check my Stradset video for that one. May 2024. This is an unusual conversion of a Super Major, front wheel conversion, and it was done by a company called Bettinson in Holbeach in Lincolnshire, for working in the Lincolnshire Fen. 3-wheel conversion on the front. Turner Yeoman of England, whole feature of those at Stradset last year. There's a couple of those here today. This is one here and one further down, I think we've just seen. And another gold mine, 1200 MF, Massey Ferguson articulated tractor, 1976. Massey Ferguson UK's foray into articulated tractors. This is their first attempt. before I think they probably ended up heading back to America. Relatively successful tractor, but not as successful as the 135. Imperial, now that's definitely an import from Australia. It says it was driven in. I think it's probably going to be a diesel. By the look of it, I would say it's a diesel. Certainly smells like a diesel. That's a beast of an engine. I think that might be single cylinder. I might be wrong, but I think it is. Yeah, single cylinder on the back. There's your cylinder head. Crikey. Let you know about it when that's running. Whew. A few Caterpillars, 22 in yellow, and then we've got a 30. Looks very much like the Holt version before it became proper Caterpillar, although it's got the Caterpillar logo on the front. Looks very much like a Holt tractor, and then they started styling them, became looking like this, started putting bonnets on them. That's a 20, that's a 15. Complete set almost. Massey Harris and Wallace, these are all in the family. Massey Harris, Wallace and another Massey Harris. You can see the transition between Wallace, Massey Harris, very similar styling. And then it moved on to this in the 40s, stroke early 50s. And that, guess what, has got a Perkins P6 diesel. There's a pristine Massey Ferguson 35. As on cue, start it up, and my personal opinion of that tractor is whoever's restored that tractor has wasted their money, because to me that is over restored. They didn't even look like that when they came out the factory, and I'm starting to get a real thing about that. These tractors are over restored. If you're going to throw thousands of pounds at a tractor like that, really, what does it make it worth? In my view, it actually devalues the tractor. Other people would disagree, I suppose, because they just didn't look like that when they came out the factory. Yeah, don't get me wrong, when they first came out they looked lovely and spanking brand new, but that, you know, 2-pack paint and all of that, nah, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. These tractors were built to do a job, and the look didn't matter as much as the ability to do the work. And this is a really beautiful tractor. Big hefty old Alice Chalmers. Look at the size of the engine on that. 4-cylinder. Big traction engine wheels on the back. Got an extension on as well by the look of it. Give it a bit of, stop it from sinking in the ground, because this would weigh a fair amount, I think. And again, you know, it's I can't remember what year this would be. Mid-20s, maybe late 20s, early 30s. Huge 4-cylinder engine, rated 20 brake horsepower at the drawbar, 35 on the belt. Massive engine for what you get out of it. Crazy. Ford 901, import from USA. A John Deere B, which is an unstyled version, but this time it's the road crop. Lovely little President, can't go wrong with one of them. Case DEX. Another Massey with another Perkins P6 in. Minneapolis Moline Twin City. That was the transition between Twin City Company and Minneapolis Moline in America. If you watch Squatch on YouTube, you'll see him. He's a Minneapolis Moline fan, and he's actually rebuilding a prototype, which is an absolutely, for us, or for me anyway at least, is absolutely enthralling story of this old Minneapolis Moline from 1954, I think it is. But catch Squatch on Squatch253 on YouTube, and you'll catch up all about Minneapolis Moline and his prototype. He's also got a prototype crawler as well, which is very, very rare. Anyway, talking about what we've got in front of us now, which is a nicely restored Alice B with an underslung hoe. That's a nice piece of kit, though not quite as useful as the mower that I've got on mine. But presumably this one actually runs, whereas mine at the moment does not run, and this has got an aftermarket carburettor on it, which is what I think I'm going to have to do as well. Anyway, that's for another day. MG5 Ransoms crawler, complete with plough. It's a really nice little garden tractor. I really quite like that. That'd be my sort of garden tractor, that would. It looks like a tractor. It looks like a Massey Ferguson tractor, which is what it is. Even got the nice chrome wheel trims on it. That's something else, isn't it? I really quite like that. Another Minneapolis Moline. Don't forget about Squatch253 and his Minneapolis Moline adventures. Really interesting guy if you want to catch him on YouTube. If you're into old tractors and see how they're supposed to be restored, Squatch is your man. There's a fortune hidden under there somewhere, under that Merhill crane conversion, or loader conversion I should say. Fortune E27N. I absolutely hate this. This is the wrong colour. It is not a Massey Ferguson. It is a Ferguson. It's not supposed to be red and grey. It's meant to be all grey. If you're going to do it properly. This is a Massey Ferguson. You can see where the confusion comes in, but if you know what you're looking at, you can tell the difference. Alice Chalmers HD7, that's with the GM 2-stroke diesel in, I think. Yeah, that's the GM version, the Screaming Jimmy they call it. Buy that just for the engine, scrap the rest. There's a supercharger on the side. Yeah, I'd buy that just for the engine and get rid of the rest of it. Crawlers are a pain in the neck really, you've got to move them around. Sell the rest for bits. Maybe I should buy that. Instead of putting a Perkins in the Fergie, maybe I should put the GM engine in. That's a thought, isn't it? Finishing off with some Fordsons here. Big Caterpillar D6. One thing on the Caterpillar D6, look where the bottom of the engine starts and look where the top of the engine finishes. So this is cylinder head here, and all of that is stroke. The stroke on a D6 like this is absolutely as long as your arm. Huge torque in this engine, really low revving, but the torque is unbelievable. It is a phenomenal machine. 3-cylinder, just incredible. Just incredible. Keen on these 60s Fords, but I do like the 80s ones, probably because that's my period, that's my era. And the other week, Casterton Vintage featured classic tractors ploughing, and in that video was a Massey Ferguson 2640, and you don't see many of those around. Not seen one here. I can never remember seeing a 2640 for sale here. Either they weren't very popular, or they are that popular that people don't get rid of them. But I used to drive one of those back in the 80s, a place where I worked, and that was it's a really good looking machine, and it really was capable as well. 6-cylinder. I think it was when Massey Ferguson owned Perkins at the time, so everything was Perkins engines. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, fantastic. Having said that, no, I just thought we had one coming up now, but we haven't. It's a 2720, which is much later, and it's similar period actually. It's very, very similar to this. Yeah. Slightly bigger version. The one I drove as well was a two-wheel drive, and I bet they are rare, because I should think that two-wheel drives are not that popular. Lots of Fords, lots and lots of Fords. And as always, down the end we start to get some of the dregs. 2 more lines left to go. Now that's a TD crawler, because that's a diesel, that one. I'm not sure it's a TD4 or TD6 or what they were, I can never remember. Nice crawler though, that's for sure. Case, older restoration that's been let go. Alice Chalmers Model M that hasn't been restored, been dragged out of a hedge or a barn somewhere. Someone's taken the engine apart. Not good, never mind. I don't know where the cylinder head's gone, but it's not with it. Another 634 International. There's a David Brown Thresherman or an industrial, some descriptions, missing its fenders, big heavy fenders. So again, interesting machine. It's a diesel as well. And that's an interesting looking machine, borrowed out of a Morris van or Morris car, one of only 6 made, and it's got like a Fowler gyrotiller cultivating attachment on the back end, used in the market garden industry. Nice little compact tractor, tilling the soil. That goes pretty deep. That would screw up your soil structure, wouldn't it, that one? The gyrotillers, the big versions, the Fowlers, that the tracked Fowler they were, with a big cultivating attachment on the back looking like that, they were used for basically cultivating and reclaiming land, because they dug down so deep. They were so powerful. But, yeah, that's really interesting. It's a very unusual machine. One of only 6 made during World War II. In Thaxted in Essex, in the UK. Let me guess. 8N? Oh, bang on. Ford 8N. Looks very much like the Ferguson. Told you that story before. That's because Ford designed it, Ferguson pinched it. I've got a couple of Caterpillars, small one and a big one, and a couple of Leylands at the back here. And this one is what mine should look like. This is a 270. And I do have, I think, everything to go with the cab and the bonnet, and one day it will get a full restoration. It is an absolutely fabulous tractor. Starts every time, first time, without fail, and it works. One day mine will get the treatment and it will get full paint, full restoration, because it was my father's tractor and I'll never sell it. And we've got our hedgerow tractors here. Alice B, has it got a carburetor on it? Yes, it has. Is it better than one I've got? Don't know. Probably not by the look of it. It looks a bit rusty and rotten. Nice little parts tractor. Got some decent tyres on the back. Not a lot else though by the look of it. Not a lot else. It's an early one because it's got levers for brakes and it's got the bow front axle. Fordson hedgerow, 2 of them together, E27N standard.
That's pretty small.
Alice U, far more left 14 probably, is it? Maybe an F20. Let's have a look. F20. Another hedgerow, maybe an import, perhaps. A slightly better Alice B, straight axle. Different carburettor on it again. That's probably had the conversion at some point in its life. Yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do with mine is I'm going to have to put on another carburettor, which is not good because they're not cheap. Cropmaster, David Brown. There's an 880 David Brown, paraffin restoration. Another 810 Ford Ferguson. Painted the wrong colour, I'm afraid, but there you go. It is what it is. 6-cylinder Fordson Power Major or Super Major or Diesel Major, one or the other. International. 995 white David Brown. A 55 track Marshall with a dozer blade on the front. Interesting. Another International crawler with a, that's got the paraffin or the petrol start diesel engine in that one. D272, probably with the Perkins P3 in it. Yes, it is. Built in Essendine, I believe, in near Stamford in the UK. If I'm not wrong, maybe possibly Southampton. And I didn't know that this was here, but this is an Oliver 60. And I used to have an Oliver 60, much worse repair than this, and I sold it in bits to somebody and they restored it because I needed some money at the time. But this is interesting. It's a paraffin one, so it's likely that it is an original import. Most of the American ones were just petrol only. Stated to be barn find with a free turning engine. No starter motor on it though. Sorry, no starting handle, and no starter motor, so I don't know how they know that. That'd be quite a nice little buy. I don't suppose that'll make a lot of money because they're not very popular. It's got the proper bonnet for paraffin, it's got the proper tank, it's got the proper manifold. That would be alright actually, that little tractor. Unfortunately, it's going to have to stay there. It's not coming home with me, unfortunately. Fordson dumper, Merhill, Big Marshall, Aveling Barford roller, barn five Fordson E27N, never raced or rallied. Farmwell M, big man's tractor that is, again needs a bit of work. International 1020 on rubbers, unconventional, but nonetheless another project. Fordson Major, Diesel Major, big track Marshall 70, slightly smaller one this side, 55, Matthew Harris, an advanced roller, road roller, Ford 4000 or a Ford 3000 skid unit with all the bits at the back. Another project for you, sir. One with a loader on. TD8 International. Huge, great checkerboard grille on the front. Look at the wide size of that. That is all cast iron. That is humongous. Has it got? No, I was going to say, has it got the petrol start diesel? But it isn't. It's just straight petrol. There's no carburettor on it. Fordson, standard. It's done so much work that the front skid ring is missing, virtually worn away. Got some interesting back wheels on it though, quite like those. They get you some traction, wouldn't they? But yeah, there's a few salvageable parts on that. Probably the engine block and the magneto at least. Certainly the back end as well. Because the engine block looks like it's never been cracked. That's what they'll be bought for.
80,000. You tell me, ladies and gentlemen, 80,000 or 70,000 pounds surely. 70,000. I'm in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. 70,000 or 60,000 pounds. Let's get to work surely. Just look at 50, thank you, sir. 50,000 pound here at 50,000 pound. I have there at 50 on bid. At 50,000 pound, I got now at a 50 bid. There at 50,000 pound. All the hard work is done. At 50,000 pound, I got there at 50 on bid. Now at 50,000. At 50,000 pound here. At 50,000 pound. At 51. Got you, sir. 51. Part of, and it's on the telephone and selling today. At 60,000. Part of a bid there at 60,005. You're out left and right. 61,000 now, sir. At 61,000. At 61,000 pounds. It's online and selling all the time. At 61,000 a bid. At 61.5. And I sell on the telephone then at 72,000 pounds. Your bid, sir. 72,000. Thank you. At 38,000 pounds. I've been here at 38. The hammer's up. Be quite sure. At 38,000 pounds. There's 9 if you want it. At 38,000 pounds. But I sell on the telephone then at 38,000 pounds. Your man, Joe. 38,000. 50 on bid. Now for 50,000. Happen for 50,000 pound. I got there to 50 a bid. Is there one or not now? At 50,000 pound. I got there to 50 a bid. But I sell right-handed. Fair warning. At 50,000 pound. I got there to 50 a bid. The hammers are, but I sell this time of the way then at 50,000 pounds. Yours, gentlemen, 50,000. Thank you. Let me know what you did at 10,000. At 10,000 pound. I got there to 10 a bid. Half or not now then. Fair warning it on then. And it sells this time of the way then at 10,000 pounds. Yeah, 10,000. 10,000 pound. I got there to 10 on bid. At 10,000 pound. I bid at 10. At 10,000 pound. Only bid in at 10 a bid. Take another half now. At 10,000 pound. I got there to 10 on bid. At 10,000 pound. I bid in at 10,000. At 10,000 pound. I got there to 10 a bid. The hammers are what I sell then. Same way then. At 10,000 pounds. Same man. 10,000. Thank you. And I can give a 10 a bid. But it's spoken to now. At 10,000 pound. I got there to 10 a bid. The hammers are done then. At 10,000 pounds. Sold 10,000. Get me quick. You want it now. At 15,000 pound. I bid in at 15 a bid. The hammers are done then. At 15,000 pounds. Not quite there on that one, I'm afraid. 20,000. At 20,000 pound. I got there to 20 bid now. Now for 20,000. At 20,000 pound. I bid there to 20 bid now. It's one if you want it now. At 20,000 pound. I got there to 20 bid. But I sell on the telephone then. At 20,000 pound. I got there to 20 bid. Hammers up. Chance, what do I sell then? At 20,000 pounds. Jack, your man. 20,000. At 30,000 pound. I'll bid there to 30 no bid. Now for 30,000. At 30,000 pound. I'll bid there to 30 no bid. Hammers up now. At 30,000 pound. I'll bid there to 30 no bid. Now for 30,000 pound. Make it 14 online now. At 13,000 pound. I'll bid there to 30 no bid. The hammers up. That's 13,000 pound. I'll bid there to 30 no bid. You lose it this time of the way then. At 13,000 pounds. We're not quite on that one, but we will be in touch online.
And that's it for another spring sale at Cheffins up near Ely in Cambridgeshire. Great day out, in fact great 2 days out. I spent some money, I've even made a little bit of money as well, or probably broken even. A couple of things I've put in haven't sold, but still got some more stuff to sell. And I've just seen a plough that I put in is sold, so that I sort of paid for yesterday's purchases. So win some, lose some. Anyhow, it's got it out of my way, put it that way. Right, so if you like what you see, then certainly stick a like on the old thumbs up button there, and put a subscription down on the channel. Keep up with what we're doing, mechanical adventures and vintage auctions, car shows, steam rallies, you name it, we'll be there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Share to your friends if you did, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and bye for now.